is because of that right there. I mean,
Hey man, you need some help with that?
no man, I got it. Hey friends, welcome back. I am Jason. This is my good buddy Shane.
What's up, y'all?
You've seen him before in some previous videos.
May or may not.
Formerly with SE Knives,
Yeah.
right? Randall's Adventure and Training. But right now, we are at Southern Honda Power Sports.
Right.
And we are here because we are trying to find the ultimate zombie apocalypse bike.
I think we're gonna find it and then we're gonna build it.
There's a sea of awesomeness here. Can you see that? Sea of awesomeness here, and there's a lot of bikes to choose from. And I made a selection.
You did?
Based on what I wanted in a vehicle. I wanted something that's very off-road capable.
Yes.
I wanted something super reliable.
Super reliable.
Uber reliable.
Because we've had breakdowns.
Because I break down a lot.
It sucks.
It's not fun. It's unpleasant. I break down a lot. I want something that's easy to work on. I'm not a good mechanic. I have like too many thumbs.
Right.
I'm terrible with wrenches. It's not really my thing. I can do the basics, but I want something that's going to work and I don't have to work on it that much.
So when we started this process, I gave you two options, right? And so I knew which one you were going to pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we could have gone with something like this.
Oh yeah.
But so when they say ATV, all-terrain vehicle, in my humble opinion, a motorcycle is the way to go. I can take a motorcycle just about anywhere. Yeah. I cannot take something like this just about anywhere. While it's awesome to have, you know, carrying capacity and
general utility.
Yeah, general utility. You can put winches on them and all that kind of stuff, but you need a lot of space. You need a lot of room. They don't do well riding on the sides of hills and stuff like that.
Over, under, down trees.
Yeah. Pick it up and push it over and flip it over. I've literally picked my bike and flopped it over trees before.
So one of the first options we gave you is the bike I'm actually riding is the 450RL. So this is, I mean, if I'm being very honest, this is a water-cooled, fuel-injected race bike with blinkers. When I say this bike is rowdy, it's responsibly rowdy. It's got great suspension. But in our conversations, we quickly realized that this does not fit the bill. You don't want EFI. You don't want the ECU. You don't want the electronics there. Yeah. So what we chose is the tried and true and very hard to find and get.
Apparently, who knew?
Is a 2024. This is actually like a 1984. 2024
because it's the same
XR650 because it's been grandfathered in. Nothing's changed. It's air cooled, carbureted. I mean, this is, if this were an amp, it would be vacuum tubes.
It's like the dinosaur of dual sport motorcycles right here, and that's what I love about it. I like simplicity. I don't like a lot of electronics. I don't care.
Dead nuts reliable.
Yeah, and it's just gonna start every single time. And it's gonna be really easy to fix if there should be something that goes wrong with it. It's got a carburetor, which I've been working on carburetors my whole life, right? So I know how to take a carburetor apart. I know how to change the jets out. Very simple. I can take extra jets with me in a tiny little Ziploc bag, and it's very simple to do on the trail.
One of the things when I built my 450RL, I've gone through the adventure bike stuff where I'm riding big bikes or medium-sized bikes. Those bikes ride me. Yeah. You know, you spend a lot of time wrestling. Right. I like to ride the bike, not wrestle the bike. When I built my 450RL, I built it with what I wanted to fix all my day ender issues. Like, what's going to be the thing that's going to end the ride?
Make the ride stop right there, yeah.
So let's talk about some day ender, or let's highlight some of the things that you might like to have on this bike.
Yeah. So before we jump into that, listen, you could take a motorcycle like this right here, stock, off the showroom floor, and I could just head out and do nothing to it and ride it for the next 50,000 miles easily, and
properly maintained.
Yeah, change the oil, obviously. Put a few tire changes on there, that kind of thing. But pretty much that's it. Like, I would not have to do anything to it. However, there are some key things that will make it more versatile, more comfortable to ride on long distance rides, like adventure riding that I like to do. Things that will make it just more capable. And then just the personal touch that, you know, everybody likes to do their own little thing to make their bike theirs.
I can't ride anything stock.
Right. This bike as is awesome, but there's a few key things that I would probably want to change. Like, for example, this steel tank right here is only 2.2?
Yeah, small.
2.2 gallons.
Now, this thing sips fuel. We're talking about a bike that gets probably close to 50 miles to the gallon.
Yeah.
But I want an extended range.
Right.
And there are ways. Giant Loop makes a killer armadillo bag that you can carry gas on.
But that's lame.
But I don't like to carry. I'd rather not carry it on my person.
Yeah, I want it in here. Yeah. If I have to carry fuel, I want it to be in there, and I don't want to. I've done the cans. Like I've had spare cans, MSR bottles and stuff like that.
Roto packs. It's all.
It's fine. I just would rather not do that. I'd rather have it in the tank. So we are going to do one major upgrade, and that's going to be putting a big old 5 and some change gallon.
Big tank.
It's big. It's going to be like the Exxon Valdez, I think. That's the type of riding that I want to do, and because, you know, if I'm evading the zombies, I'm going to be off-road. These tires don't do great off-road. They do, I would say, mediocre at best off-road.
Yeah. So it's factory tires like you get on any car or anything else.
Yeah.
They're decent. They don't last as long as a factory tire. I personally have a few tires that I like. I like the Dunlop 606, which is a great tire that is more off-road worthy.
And there's nothing worse than going around a dirt turn and that front tire washing out because it's got nothing on there.
That's a hard slam.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's really unpleasant. So you have to have some sort of metal wraparound hand guard here. This is great for like keeping your hands protected from brush and stuff like that might smack you and hurt your fingers, but it won't do much for protecting these levers. And that's the primary reason why I want bark busters, because if I drop this bike, and I will drop the bike, like 100% it's going to happen, probably on day like 1.
a broken front brake lever is not good.
Yeah.
A broken clutch lever is a definite.
It's bad.
Calling somebody with a trailer. Yeah. At that point, the ride is over.
Right.
You're just trying to get home.
Sitting down riding a motorcycle like this on like the highway or something like that, this is fine. This is fantastic. It's comfortable. The bars are kind of low and they sweep back, and you don't have to really stretch out. But if you get off-road, you're going to stand up. You're going to be out of the saddle almost the whole time if it gets bumpy at all, right? Any kind of varying terrain, you're going to stand up. And these handlebars are a little bit low, and it makes you have to kind of hunch over and reach for them, and you can't stand up in a really kind of athletic position. If I want to be, you know, ready to fight somebody, I'm going to be in this athletic position right here. This is my athletic stance, and that's how I want to be riding. That's going to make me more balanced. It's going to make that motorcycle move underneath me, make it easier to control, and more importantly, make it much less likely that I'm going to crash. If I can be in a comfortable athletic riding stance, I'm going to stay on that bike and I'm not going to wipe out. And that's kind of a big deal. Now, while I'm on that subject, motorcycles are inherently dangerous. I get it. Everyone in the comment section can be like, oh, motorcycles are dangerous, you're going to crash and break your arm. 100% yes, motorcycles are inherently dangerous, and I get that. However, the trade-off is the mobility. I can go anywhere on one of these things. On this motorcycle or this motorcycle, I can hop on it and I can go anywhere. City streets, mountain roads, single track, tiny little twisty trails, hiking trails. I could do whatever I wanted on one of these motorcycles with a little bit of skill and practice. You can't say the same.
We're not saying hiking trails.
Yeah, don't go on that. As awesome as it would be, don't go on the Appalachian Trail on a motorcycle. How cool would that be, though?
Be cognizant, be responsible,
yes.
But yes.
But you can't say the same with like one of these guys here. These are awesome. I grew up riding an ATV. It's very similar to that, a four-wheel drive ATV. They're awesome. They're really, really fun, and they're super capable, but it will never go as many places as one of these will. It's just not possible because they're so much bigger. Yes, motorcycles are dangerous. I get it. You're exposed to the elements. If it's raining, you're gonna get wet, right? If it's cold, you're gonna be a little cold. If it's hot, you're gonna be hot.
That's one of the beauties to me of riding a motorcycle.
Is I am immersed in my environment.
I'm
not observing it.
Yes.
And so how do we mitigate risk is, I taught my boys to ride. It's all the gear all the time. So I mitigate risk by being uber defensive. I ride like everybody's trying to kill me, and that's how I taught my boys. Now, but if you start looking at motorcycle accidents statistically, most are single vehicle accidents, which means everybody's always worried about the other driver. More often than not, it's the monkey on the bike that winds up being the problem.
Yeah.
And so making sure you check the ego at the door, you respect the bike, and then you're geared up. There's all kinds of saying, dress for the slide, not the ride, you know. So you don't want to be a squid. You don't want to be the guy that's in the tank top with the flip-flops and the shorts out. So I said that just for that reason. But being geared up, and what we're trying to do is, there's an assumed risk, but we want to mitigate that risk by armoring up, wearing good gear that's motorcycle specific, that offers us the protection that we need and want, so we got a better chance of walking away from the spill.
Upper body armor, that's wearing that and not wearing it. That's the difference between falling off, getting a little scuffed up, or day ender. Like if you have
hospital,
ambulance ride. Yeah, if you have good armor on, you can fall down, get back up, and keep riding, or don't have armor and you could be done. Why on earth would we want a Honda in the first place? Because there's a lot of options out there. And when I hear the word Honda, immediately, literally the next word, and I'm not making this up just because I'm here in the presence of Shane and I'm at a Honda dealership, the next word that comes into my mind is reliable. It starts every time, it runs every. My kids have a 50cc Honda CRF 50 from like 2007. Thing starts every single time.
My dad's got a four-wheeler. He's done things around the farm he shouldn't, and it's just rock solid.
Every time they run, right? So reliable, that's probably number one on my list for any kind of vehicle. I want reliability. I want the thing to start. I want it to run every single time without question. And in my opinion, if you're going to look for that, Honda is going to be the way to go.
Well, something else too, when it comes to adventure riding, to me, Honda is like a Ford dealership. There's almost like a Ford dealership in
everywhere.
Town. So if I'm doing the TAT, the Trans-America Trail, or something along those lines, then if my starter breaks or I have an issue, I'm far more likely to be able to get a replacement part quicker.
Yeah.
Simply because there's more dealerships in more places. I love Euro trash stuff. Like I like my Euro trash brands.
Yeah.
And not throwing off. I mean, I ride a Ducati. I've ridden.
Yeah. I ride KTM.
Yeah. I like a lot of that stuff. But if I'm doing something along the lines of what you're doing, parts availability, parts access to it, makes a big difference in
huge
how you can.
Yeah, I freaking love my KTM motorcycle. It's awesome. It's like this bike here. It's super lightweight. It's wicked fast. It's crazy, and it's a lot of fun. It's really capable off road, but it's not as reliable as this bike right here. Not as reliable. Obviously, it's in the shop right now, right? And finding parts for it is much, much more difficult. There's not a KTM dealership everywhere. And even if there is, parts are not always available for it.
The legacy support on this bike too is you're also getting a known entity. You're getting a bike that's been proven over 3 decades.
Yeah.
You know, and like it's not, I mean, Harley's made a great run at it. They're still using like early 1900s technology. Yeah. Cool motors. They seem to be doing okay, right? Yeah. So while this bike may not have the performance of that bike, you get longer maintenance intervals.
What is the maintenance interval? Do you know?
I don't know. I can make something up, but I'm not really sure.
Yeah, it's like on my KTM, it's like every 30 minutes. You got to stop on the side of the road, change the oil. It's stupid.
This is way longer than that. I normally, depending on how I ride, I'm a little bit ham-fisted sometimes. Yeah. So I tend to change my oil a little quicker because that is the lifeblood, especially on the 450 RL. That, like, again, that's a race bike. Intervals are a little shorter. So I'm doing oil changes more frequently. This bike, you're going to put around on this bike. The interval is going to be much longer.
Yeah.
This bike will get up and go. It is a 650 single, so it's got a nice bottom end.
Torquey.
As far as torquey.
Yeah.
But the maintenance intervals are going to be far longer than some of the other bikes that are a little more high performance.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I don't really care about high performance. Like, that's not, I've never gotten on, like, any of these motorcycles in here could whip my butt. They'll go faster than I need to go. Any of them, like even the little ones, they could go fast.
Well, I call it root syndrome. I can get root syndrome really quick, and I can run out of talent really fast on almost any of these bikes.
Yeah, all of these bikes are better than me. Like they will all outperform me. I'm never going to be like, oh, I wish I had just a little bit more power. Like, no, it's not going to be a thing. So for that reason, I think this 650 right here is going to be the perfect. It is air cooled. How awesome is that? There is no radiator. There is no, it is carbureted, very simple mechanical stuff here. No radiators, no coolant that you have to worry about smashing them in and stuff like that. it's just going to be kind of bomb-proof out of the gate. Another reason why I like this motorcycle is because of that right there. I mean, there's a big, huge amount of ground clearance right there before you're going to hit any kind of obstacle. And the travel, suspension travel is huge. The downside is it makes it tall, right? I am 5'10"-ish, something like that. So I've got to kick off to the side, but I've been riding tall dirt bikes my whole life, and that's just kind of how I do it anyway. So flat footing it, it's not really going to be a thing, but when you stop, you just do that. Ka-chow. So Logan has assured me that the XR650 is wheelieable. I want proof. You know what? He was right. So Logan, what do you think? Do you like it?
This thing screams America. It brings back the 90s, son. I was born in 93, so.
This motorcycle came out a year after you were one.
Yep.
When it looked like just like this.
Yep. I could have done the same thing at one.
Yeah, of course you could have.
Yep. First ride on the XR. There you go.
Kill switch is on.
Carburetor.
Love it. This thing is awesome.
This brings back memories.
It's so good. It's so good. That is a cool bike, man. This stuff's all gotta go.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
Smog. Yeah.
Suck it,
That'll get rid
California.
of- This is not made for the liberal states.
No. That goes up. Oh, son, like butter. It's like it was meant to be.
That's what you gotta say. That ain't
Should be fine.
that ain't going nowhere.
That ain't going nowhere.
That's our rule here. If you look something up,
Yeah, that ain't going nowhere.
That ain't going nowhere.
Dang, that looks good in the back of this truck.
It does.
Holy moly. Yes, sir. That is a cool motorcycle.
Hey man, you need some help with that?
No, man, I got it.
You sure?
Yeah, it's gonna be fine. I'm just gonna.
Man, we can probably find you some help. You sure?
Nope, I'm good.
Oh, okay.
You got a car.
We'll be fine.